not going to lie, the Browns picking number 2 is kind of fun. I mean, sure, we don't want the result to be picking number 2 because of the record, but it does make for an exciting and interesting combine because the Browns are one of the most discussed teams so far in Indianapolis. So I want to share with you guys what I'm kind of reading and hearing from the combine, some of the news and rumors relating to the Browns out there. But first things first, I do want to address a little bit of the elephant in the room. I am in Indianapolis for the combine. However, I'm not actually at the Combine Convention Center right now because unfortunately last night the Airbnb that our team is staying at was robbed. So that really sucked. Took a good chunk of stuff, and we spent most of this morning kind of driving around town and putting together a lot of the pieces of equipment that were stolen and replacing it and whatnot, and unfortunately just did not have the capability or the resources to really make it out to the combine today. Should be back there tomorrow though. So I'm at a hotel right now filming in my room because I still wanted to get a video out to you guys today. So sorry for what's been a little bit of a choppy couple of days on the channel, whether it's travel or whether it's just, someone breaking in and stealing your stuff. So with that stuff out of the way now, let's get into all of the juicy stuff coming from Indianapolis. Starting with Adam Schefter. ESPN's Adam Schefter talked about what he is not just hearing from the combine, but what he is most confident in. And he says the number one thing he is most confident in when it comes to the draft this year is the Browns will be taking a quarterback at number 2. And for the chunk of the fan base that wants the Browns to take a quarterback at number 2, this is your Super Bowl. This is your parade, because if Schefter is saying it, it's got to have some legs to it. It's got to have some truth to it, and it may very well happen. And I'm not here to say Schefter's wrong. I know more than him on this subject here. But what I am here to say is if you listen to the entire clip and not just Adam Schefter predicts the Browns go quarterback at number 2, I think you'd walk away with this sounds more like what Schefter would do if he was the GM versus Adam Schefter, the ESPN NFL insider, and what he's hearing. Because his reasoning for why he is so confident the Browns are going quarterback at number 2 is, quote, because they have to, right? Common sense dictates that. They have Deshaun Watson still under contract. He's expensive. They need to find a new starting quarterback. They need to do it with a low budget. And the easiest way to do that is by picking a quarterback at number 2. And I'd say like 8 times out of 10, you are correct. In my personal belief, this is a 2 out of 10 time where it's not a very good quarterback draft class. So we all know, if you've been watching the channel for just not even an extended period of time, but even for a couple of days or weeks, where I stand on this, which is I don't believe the Browns should go after a quarterback with the 2nd overall pick, because I don't think there is a quarterback worth the 2nd overall pick in this draft, and I don't believe 2 wrongs make a right. You may need a quarterback, which the Browns definitely do, but just taking a quarterback for the sake of taking a quarterback is not going to help improve this team long term. But I'm not here to give you guys 10 minutes of my unfiltered opinion on this. I want to talk about what people are saying here in Indianapolis. So Schefter believes that the Browns are going to go quarterback at number 2 because it just is too clear and obvious to him. And maybe they will. I'm not going to say no, I disagree with that. The Browns very well could reach the conclusion of we do need a new quarterback, and whether or not we love either quarterback, this is kind of Hail Mary time because our backs are against the wall, and a great way to quickly turn something around is by getting a star quarterback. And if it does turn out to be a star, then you're in a great spot. But if not, you're probably looking for a new job next year. So that's what Schefter had to say. Some other draft stuff going on right now from Indy. The consensus, we'll say, is most people prefer Cam Ward over Shedeur Sanders. In fact, Sanders' stock might be going down a little bit. He's not throwing at the combine this week. I'm not going to critique him too much for that because I am a believer of why don't you just watch the film? We just watched him play 2 full seasons at Colorado. That should answer all of your questions about his arm strength and whatnot, but I don't believe he's in a comfortable position where he can turn some of this stuff down if coaches and GMs still want to see more from him. So we won't see Sanders throw, which will be a little bit of a bummer, but the overall consensus when you listen and talk to people here in town is it's Cam Ward number 1, and even the Giants, who some people thought were really high on Sanders, they're cooling on Shedeur, and they might go like Travis Hunter at number 3, and we could see Shedeur start to fall a little bit more than people anticipate. I mean, if it was up to me, I don't even know if he's a round 1 prospect still. I think he's close to like a round 2 guy if you compare him to other quarterback prospects, but because it's a quarterback, weak class, he receives a little bit of a boost for that. So that's what's going on at the quarterback position right there. Now, another reason why Schefter believes the Browns could be going with a quarterback at number 2 is he's got and a lot of people do, a decent thinking that the Titans might go with Abdul Carter at number 1. If you remember a few weeks ago, the Titans said we're looking for a generational player with the first overall pick. Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders are not generational players. Abdul Carter is probably the closest thing. Him and Travis Hunter, I'd say those two guys are the closest things to generational players at pick number 1. Now, the Titans said they view Travis Hunter as a corner. I don't think a corner has ever gone first overall in the draft. Someone fact check me. So if they think he's a corner, he ain't going number 1. And if they're looking for a generational player and there's only 2 remaining, or 2 total, process of elimination, we're down to 1, Abdul Carter. So with that being said, I bring all this up because if Tennessee does go with Abdul Carter, which the Browns, by the way, they have not really been in discussion with Carter. Like, the words Carter and Browns have not come up in the same sentence a ton. So if the Browns are not eyeing towards or shading or leaning towards Carter, and the Titans are, that could open up Cam Ward for Cleveland at number 2. I also want to remind everyone that it's late February. We're very early in the pre-draft process. Even the coaches and GMs are saying that. So I'm not going to make any definitive statements of what the Browns are going to do at number 2, because how can I if the Browns don't even know? What if the Browns' plan is to get Cam Ward because the Titans are going to take Abdul Carter, and the Titans throw a wrench and they select Cam Ward first overall? Who's to say the Browns don't maybe panic a little bit and go like Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter if that was the plan for them to take Cam Ward at number 2? So no, I'm not in the business of telling you guys what the Browns are going to do at number 2, because the Browns don't even know what they're going to do at number 2. What if the Browns want to go quarterback at number 2, but Ward goes first and they don't really like Shedeur Sanders enough for the second overall pick? So I would caution anyone from making any definitive statements. You might be right, but I think at this point you're guessing. You're not actually saying anything with any real backing to it. Something else that came up today, Kevin Stefanski in his press conference reiterated that Myles Garrett will not be traded. Jared Mueller from Dogs by Nature, right? I got that right? I'll make sure. He does an incredible job of, the SB Nation page of putting out some of the rumors and things he's hearing, and it does not look like the Browns have any remote interest whatsoever in trading Garrett. This is not like a smokescreen. This is not the Browns trying to, drive up Garrett's trade value by giving out this impression that they don't want to trade him, but secretly they're open to it. No, the Browns are going to keep him hostage. So I only see this ending one of a few ways. One, Myles just changes his mind. He realizes he's not going to get traded, so make the best of the situation. That's one. 2, Garrett holds out, doesn't show up to training camp. Regular season's around the corner, and we've got a good old-fashioned holdout on our hands, and someone blinks, whether it's the Browns or Myles, and he returns, or the Browns do end up trading him like the Raiders traded Khalil Mack. So those are the 2 outcomes I see coming for us here, but it looks very, very low probability that he is traded before the draft, which if he does get traded after the draft and Andrew Berry gets a haul that he never sees because he's fired after 2025 for back-to-back losing seasons, it's going to go down as one of the biggest malpractices by a GM to trade away the franchise player and never see a single pick that you got for that player. So go check out Jared Mueller, though. He does a really good job of covering the team and things he's hearing and whatnot. Always enjoy his reads. Okay, and 2 more things, and then I'll let you guys get on out of here. 1, Matthew Stafford. He is becoming more and more available by the day. We've talked about this a couple of times on the channel. Does not look like the Browns are super involved or deep in conversations with Stafford. 2 teams have come up more than anyone else: the Raiders and the Giants. Now, the Raiders' minority owner Tom Brady, according to Jordan Schultz, took Stafford to his ski lodge in Montana, which I thought skiing was like a violation of every pro player's contract. And evidently he's making a big push to Stafford for him to consider Las Vegas. So that's one team to keep an eye on. And the the Giants are another team to watch for as well. Browns, I'm sure, are going to make calls, but it doesn't look like they're at the top. However, the Browns weren't at the top for Brandon Ayuk until they were. So I'm definitely not going to completely cross out Cleveland for Stafford. And then Kirk Cousins, he came up during the Falcons pressers yesterday on Wednesday from the head coach and the GM. Atlanta keeps giving this facade, I like to call, that they're going to keep Cousins as a backup. I don't buy it for a second. Not even just from the money standpoint. I think it's detrimental to Michael Penix to have Cousins breathing down his neck, being a backup to him when all along he wants to be the starter, so he's not really there to, build up Penix, but he's more there for his own interest of trying to reclaim his starting gig. Now, what can get a little hairy is Cousins has a no-trade clause. So if the Browns pick up the phone and say, hey, can we make a trade for Cousins? And Falcons go, sure, we'd love to. And Cousins goes, no, I don't want to be traded. You're not going to trade me. I'm going to veto it. Then there's nothing Cleveland can do unless Atlanta releases him. Which, if you're the Falcons, why wouldn't you release him? Well, here's one theory why not. Maybe you don't release him because you can hold that over Kirk Cousins and say, if you don't lift your no-trade clause, we're going to keep you hostage. And we will eventually release you, but after all the other starting quarterback roles have been filled. So you'll be a backup somewhere else. You won't have your pick of the litter. You won't have a starting job awaiting you. So if you want to miss out on free agency and signing where you'd like to, pick up your no-trade clause and accept this deal with the Browns. It's going to be kind of a fun roller coaster between Cousins and the Falcons, and I think the Browns are going to be a stop somewhere on that journey. So that will do it for us on our at-home, at-hotel edition of the Cleveland Browns Report. Appreciate everyone's patience. I know it's just been a weird week, and to be honest with you, I can't really wait for this week to kind of be over with because it's just been up and down. So hopefully we'll get back to, even playing field and level water tomorrow and smooth sailing from then on out. But I'll sign off and let you guys get on with the rest of your Wednesdays.